There's something quietly remarkable about the people who never appear on screen. Ben Shephard has spent years becoming one of British television's most recognizable faces. That warm smile, the easy charm, the way he makes every guest feel genuinely welcome. Viewers feel like they know him. And in many ways, perhaps they do. But knowing the person behind the presenter, that's a different story entirely. And lately, some viewers have started wondering about the woman who, by many accounts, has been one of the most significant forces in shaping who Ben Shephard actually is. Her name is Annie Shephard. And if you've only ever known her as Ben's wife, you may have missed something genuinely fascinating. What strikes people who've paid attention over the years is how deliberately Annie has chosen to exist away from the spotlight. In an era where celebrity partners almost instinctively migrate towards social media, where being adjacent to fame has become its own career path, Annie has taken an almost countercultural approach. She has stayed quiet, stayed creative, and stayed entirely herself. Many viewers who've caught glimpses of her world have found themselves unexpectedly moved by that choice. There's something almost rare about it now, because Annie isn't simply private by default. She's private because she has a rich interior world that doesn't require an audience to validate it. She's a former actress, and that background matters more than people sometimes realize. It means she understands, from the inside, what performance costs. She's stood in front of cameras. She's felt that particular vulnerability of being watched and judged. And somewhere along the way, she appears to have made a conscious decision that the creative life she wanted didn't need to happen publicly. It could simply be. Some people watching Ben during long-running emotional segments on Good Morning Britain, the moments where he discusses family, or loss, or the quiet challenges that come with high-pressure television work, have found themselves wondering what the foundation beneath all that warmth actually looks like. Presenters don't develop that kind of emotional range in isolation. Empathy, the genuine kind that audiences can feel through a screen, usually grows somewhere specific. It grows in relationship. It grows at home. And it almost seems as though Annie has been that place for Ben. Not in a way that diminishes either of them, but in the way that a genuinely strong partnership quietly shapes both people involved. Many longtime viewers have noted something in the way Ben speaks about his personal life, a steadiness, a groundedness, that suggests someone deeply supported. That doesn't happen by accident. What's particularly interesting about Annie's creative background is what it implies about how she sees the world. Former performers often make extraordinary observers. They've trained themselves to notice subtext, to read rooms, to understand what people are communicating beneath what they're actually saying. Imagine bringing that sensitivity into daily life, into raising children, into building a home environment that somehow produces one of British television's most emotionally intuitive presenters. It's worth sitting with that for a moment. There's a possibility, too, that Annie's decision to step away from performance speaks to something even more layered. Creativity doesn't always need an audience to be real. Some of the most profound artistic lives are lived quietly, through the choices made in raising children with imagination, through the values built into a household, through the conversations that happen around a kitchen table rather than in front of production camera. Viewers who've followed Ben's career over the years might recognize, in retrospect, that the emotional intelligence he brings to his work didn't simply emerge from television training. It was cultivated somewhere. The tension that many audiences quietly feel when watching beloved television presenters is this unspoken curiosity about who they actually are when no one's filming. There's a parasocial intimacy built up over years of morning viewing. People eat breakfast with these presenters, they process the news with them, they laugh with them during lighter segments and sit with them during harder ones. So naturally, curiosity turns toward the lives behind the screen. And when that life turns out to involve a woman as quietly compelling as Annie Shephard appears to be, the fascination deepens in ways that feel entirely human. Viewers online have often interpreted Ben's references to home life as something more than casual name-dropping. There's a warmth in how he speaks about his family that feels earned rather than performed. Some audiences began wondering whether that particular quality, That sense of someone who is genuinely okay, genuinely rooted, comes partly from a partnership built on mutual creative respect. Two people who each understand performance, who each understand the cost of public life, choosing together to protect something private. That's not nothing. That's actually quite beautiful. Annie Shephard isn't a footnote in Ben's story. She may, in fact, be one of its most important chapters, just one that was never written for public consumption. And there's something worth honoring in that. Not every meaningful life needs to be documented. Not every creative person needs followers to confirm that their art is real. Not every form of influence needs to be visible to be profound. What lingers, thinking about all of this, is the question of what we actually celebrate when we celebrate public figures. We watch Ben Shephard every morning and we feel something: comfort, familiarity, the sense that here is a person who is genuinely present with the people in front of him. But where did that come from? What shaped it? Who helped build the person capable of doing that work with such consistency, such grace, such apparent ease? Maybe the most honest answer is the one that never makes the headlines. Maybe it's the woman who understood performance deeply enough to choose something quieter. Who built a creative life on her own terms, in her own space, without needing anyone to watch. And perhaps that's exactly why, when viewers finally start asking about Annie Shephard, the conversation tends to linger far longer than anyone expected. Because some stories don't need a stage to resonate. They just need someone, eventually, to notice them. What do you think? Does knowing about the lives behind our favorite presenters change how you watch them? Let me know in the comments below.